Hi there, welcome to the channel. So here we go. Toby Russell, the builder, who routed this and drilled all the holes for me and sent it back to me perfect. Fixed my little hole and just got me going. Put this all together for me. It's like a kit guitar now. And all I have to do today is assemble it. So that's what we're going to do. I think it looks fantastic because of the shiny finish on the guitar and this shiny finish on the urethane on the headstock. The back is satin, which is what I prefer. It feels fantastic. It feels really good. I'm not going to even touch this neck because I don't want to mess it up. It feels great. What I've been reading is that finishes, I mean, you can pick your favorite finish obviously, and I really like shellac, but the main thing is that you don't have tons of it on the guitar. That's the whole point. So any finish is good, especially when it's light. You know, it's not like suffocating the guitar, in other words. So I think they look great together. And then I have my Ping Pickguard here. This is a Fender Pickguard. And this is the ones that go, these probably go made in Mexico, but they are Fender. And it's an 8 screw hole. And these brand new Fender screws look so nice on the guitar. They just look so brand new. Usually when I mess around with guitar screws, unless it's a brand new build, you know, the screws are all old and rusty. It's kind of cool to see them new and shiny. And then I have this Ping Trem, a vintage 6-screw Trem and a black trim bar. And then I have all the other accessories, the screws, the output jack. And so the first thing I was thinking of doing, just to kick this whole thing off for a video, and I'll bring the camera in closer, is I'll install this pickguard. And I know that's pretty easy for people that have been doing this kind of DIY stuff for a while. But there could be somebody out there who's clicked on this to try to, you know, make sure they're doing this correctly. I don't know if you want to follow my lead, but I'll show you how I do it. And when I'm looking at this here, I'm just noticing that we have a black wire and a white wire, and I'm going to assume that the white wire is the signal wire, and that'll go to the output jack, the signal side of it, and then this other black wire will go to the ground. Anyway, I think this is the ground wire that belongs through the back cavity, only because it has a long area where they've taken the conduit off, so it has a longer exposed wire area because it has to go across the little trim claw and be soldered onto that. So I think this is the ground. Not that it would matter because they're both attached to the same spot on the cap, which is a ground on the top of the lug. I mean on top of the casing. But I think this one belongs on the back just because it has a longer exposed piece of wire than this one does. This one, the conduit, you know, is all the way up, and it's got maybe like a 1/4 inch of exposed tinned wire. So what I'll do first is I'll show you how to run these wires and how to pick the right wires to run, you know, for the particular routes and ground. And then we'll put this pickguard on, and then we'll attach the trim and the springs on the back, and then eventually we'll finally put the neck on, and then I'll string it up and we'll work on getting the trim system to stay in tune. And we may have to do some nut work. I decided to just use the fender nut for now, and I've got some tools, and I'm going to shape it just so that when I do change the nut, if I end up going with like a tuss nut, I'll be able to hear the difference, because I always like to see, you know, when I get a new part, I want to like feel the difference between the other part, just for my own experiences, you know, my own knowledge. So anyway, I'm going to bring the camera in closer, and I'll just show you how to put, or I'm going to show myself, and you can watch how to install one of these. Okay, so be right back. Okay, so here we are. I've got the camera a little closer. Hopefully you can make out what I'm doing. I'll make sure that I show it to you. Okay, so look at these two wires here. I've got a black one and a white one. And I'm going to call the white one our signal wire. And if somehow you got these messed up, you can always just open it back up and flip them. But here's our signal wire, the white one, and then this black one. See how they have kind of short tinned ends, whereas more wires exposed on this one. They stripped away some of the shielding, or not shielding, but the conduit, the covering, to get a longer wire exposed, and that's what I think goes on the trim. So let's run that first. So looking inside the guitar where Toby routed it, I can see the little hole that's next to the bridge pickup spot, and I'm going to just take that longer black wire that's exposed and run that. It's going to be hard to see over here, so I'll probably turn it this way. And yeah, there you go. Now you can see it much better. I've got a flashlight around here somewhere. Oh, I think I put it over there. Yeah, I'll get that flashlight. Make it a lot easier. Okay, so I'm going to move this aside. Kind of move this. I can see my hole, and it should be like by your bridge pickup. There's a little hole to put to slip the wire. So I'm going to just kind of put it in there. I'm going to use my light to make sure I can see where it is. There it is. And you kind of have to just fish it through. It should be through to the other side. Let me check and see. Yes, indeed. Okay. So that is through. So what I'll do is I'll get the wires to through the body, and then we'll start worrying about soldering. And in fact, we'll go ahead and attach the pickguard, have the wires coming through, and we can just attach them after that. Okay, so let me just pull this kind of closer so we don't pull it out. And I'll move this like this way. Now we need to take this white wire and this black wire that we've already kind of isolated as the output jack wires. We got our signal wire and our ground wire. There's yet another routing hole that's right here, and this one's easier to get to. I just ran it right through, and then I'm going to run this one through as well. So now I'm going to run these wires through here. This one, here comes the black one, the ground. Here comes the white one. Making sure I didn't disconnect this one. Let me reach around the back and grab that one. Good, we're all good there. So now I'm going to just drop the pickguard into place. And today we're going to use silver solder, only because I like silver solder because silver is a great conductor. And in the world of hi-fi, it's often used to pass signal. So it's just another way to get something good in the chain, as opposed to something that doesn't pass signal as well, which would be normal solder. This has a higher percentage of silver, and it's a silver bearing solder, and I don't know, it has numbers, and I think that refers to the size of the solder. No, that's a different thing. It gives the diameter size, and then it gives a 62-38-2 reading, and I forgot what that stuff means, but this was from Radio Shack. This is the old school Radio Shack stuff, and I bought this years ago. There used to be a Radio Shack down the street before they went down, and man, this was like $5 for a big roll of silver solder. I used to buy the Cardis stuff, which was like $30, and I really like this because it's so small. It's perfect for guitars when you just need a little touch. It's just a short connection. So while we're sitting here like this, we could go ahead and just put the output jack on. I've got the boat anchor here. I mean the boat output jack, not boat anchor, but it looks like a boat. So anyway, I've got the output jack here, and I need to ascertain which side is the ground on one of these babies and which side is the hot, which is a signal side. And so usually the ground will be connected up close. So as you can see on this, the ground is right here because it's going into the sleeve. Sorry. Okay, right here. The ground is this one because it's going into the sleeve right there. Now this one out to the side, you can tell is connected to the tip or the sleeve itself. That's the tip. The ground is on the tip, and this part is connected to the sleeve. So this is your signal side. That side will get the white wire, this side will get the black wire, and if somehow you do it wrong, all you have to do is just take it, open it up and just flip it. It's no big thing. Alright, so I'm going to bring this up here. I'm trying to be careful so I don't scratch up my guitar before I've even had a chance to take it out and rock it and show it off to my friends. Okay, so I'm going to just put a quick bit of solder over here. This is that, and this is this. And I've got it twisted. And if you kind of keep twisting from this end, it'll twist around inside the route. So if you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just making a twisted pair with the wire. Twisting around. And I'm kind of pulling it. As I pull it, it takes some length and goes into the hole for me. So yeah, you can really twist. Go ahead and bring your wires through and then twist them together into a twisted pair. Now, guitar people may say, don't do that, so I could be wrong about this. But this is what you do in hi-fi. Everything's twisted, just for noise cancellation, but there could be a reason that you don't do it here. I don't know. That's something to learn for next time. And I'll come on and tell you if I find out stuff that I've done wrong, because I don't want to send you down the wrong path. But I think we're okay so far. I haven't done anything too stupid. Okay, so now, these are a twisted pair. See how I've got just a simple little twist on the wires. I don't know if you can even see that. It's hard for me to see anything in here. It's kind of dark. Okay, so where's our little anchor? All right, here we go. It's going to go, I want to make it go that way. And it's going to be, that's the ground. And that's hot. So I'm going to go ahead and just get the wire on there before I continue to think about it. We'll get our solder up here. Don't you fall down on me. Okay. Like building an amp or something. Okay, so I think I got these on here now. Yeah, those look good and shiny. The other thing I like about silver bearing solder is that it makes such shiny joints. They look really good, and you just know that they're good and fresh because you can see how shiny they are. Yeah, it's like there's some black stuff on the tip of this. I don't get it. There, I got that to flow beautifully. Okay, well, that's not so bad. And now we have a connection. Let me just get this out of the way and show you. I only have one more solder to go. It's just 3 simple solders. So here we go. Here's our output jack. I've got the white end, which is the hot end, signal side, and then the black is the ground side. So now, I'll get these things off so I can see. I'm going to work this cable in just so it doesn't get caught up. You got to be careful with that stuff. Like I said, this is your first connection to your amp is coming out of this output jack, so it's an important connection. Okay, so here we go. I've got it in there now, like so. And I'll go ahead and put a couple screws down. I'll put a screw down on the pickguard, and I'll screw this down. Okay, so here's my nice shiny new screws, and I got a screwdriver that won't fall out over the body, so we don't get extra scratches for no reason on the first day while we're assembling it. Those are for later, scratches. Okay, I'll just kind of put a towel around just so I'm not like scuffing stuff and messing things up. Okay, let me find the hole here. And what I did yesterday, after I was finished buffing, or the other day, yesterday I just let it hang. And I really think that extra day did something. It looks even more glassy and beautiful today than it did yesterday. Yesterday. Or yesterday it looked so, it just looked like the extra day helped. Okay, so I've got this side screwed down. And the reason it went in so nice and smooth is because I went through and put a little wax on these screws just to make sure that the wood wasn't stiff or that it wasn't going in properly. Okay, and there's that one. And Toby, of course, did all the drilling perfectly. It's all exactly the way it's supposed to be. Thank you, Toby, if you're out there watching. Now, if you're looking for an amazing guitar that was made out of the same wood that this one was made out of, with a single P90 and a really cool neck with like exotic woods by Freestone Guitars, which they're really a good company. There you go. Toby's got one for sale. I'll put a link up to it. And I think he wants like 700 something. And you can make him a deal and see what happens. Okay, so now I'm going to put this here, and I'll just line up these pickguards. Like I said, I went around yesterday and just tested all the holes with a little wax in the screws so it doesn't start splintering the wood or the finish around it. Okay, so now take a look. That's kind of cool. Some development. Now, as you can see, I've got this wire around the back. So I'm going to kind of just push it back in so that it only reveals enough to connect it to the claw. Okay, and then we'll just kind of come here at an angle. That's how I've always seen them do it in the past. It's like a little bar here, and you just sort of shape the wire around it. So I'm going to shape the wire around it. I'm not going to do it on camera because it'll take too long, but I'm going to shape the wire around it and just kind of hold it down, and then I'll turn it back on and just solder it right there. Yeah, you just hold that down and then just hit it with solder. So what I did is I just bent the wire around it, and I took this Dremel tool. It's actually the generic Dremel thing that I bought when I was trying to work on this guitar to open up the routes a little bit. So this ended up redeeming itself, because what I did was I scuffed up the metal just a little on this trim claw. You know, this little bump that's back here for the wire. For the ground wire, I just scuffed it up a little bit because it was really slippery and shiny, and you want solder doesn't like to go onto things that aren't a little scuffy, because there's nothing for it to flow into. So I just scuffed it up a little, laid the wire down where it was hooked around it, got enough solder to make contact, and then I held the solder over, got it really close, and was able to get it at just the right angle without burning the guitar to drop enough, like, nice clean silver dollop right there on the top, which I think looks good. So I'm happy with that. So we're grounded here, and we've got our signal connection. I need to put the rest of the screws in, but I was thinking of going ahead and installing the neck next.